Voluntold. Wendy has now been voluntold.
I would never do that. So let me just put up here that Wendy was excused, so we know that she is off today. Perfect. All right. So get ready to connect with school. So I'm going to go ahead and just share. I just have a working document. I have nothing fancy because I'm not feeling fancy right now. Just kidding. But I want to really go back through the content. So what we are talking about is the curriculum to provide. So the ideas that I want to do, or what I'd like to accomplish today, is really take a look at our content list. Are we covering the key pieces, right? Is there any changes, additions? What do we feel on the content? And then what I'd love to be able to do is how are we going to be accountable for this? So, and what I mean by that is, are we visioning, like, what does this team want to do? Do you want to have weekly meetings, weekly updates? Do we want to schedule some meetings throughout the summer just to kind of regroup and see where we are? Where do we go with this as we're developing this curriculum? Because we need to be able to have something that we can do, little updates as to how we're doing with it. So that's one thing that I want to make sure we cover today. And then if we can identify who's going to be responsible for developing those pieces, right? Is it one person that's going to take one piece and maybe do handouts or videos? What does that look like? And then we know the final due date, but I'm wondering if we want to create like little checks, how are we doing here? And maybe that's part of our meetings that we're doing, so something like that. And then the other big thing is, where are we going to store this as we move forward with this? Team Drive is great, right? But the problem is, if Julie's working on something, Julie can't just go ahead and put stuff up on Team Drive unless she sends it to somebody who then puts it up on Team Drive, which isn't horrible.
I can make a drive for our team, and then anybody in that team can upload or download or delete as desired.
And we may want to do that so that this team has just a team drive that is the get ready team. And that way, because the other piece of all of this, when all of this is, we're starting to put this together, the worst thing in the world, and I've done it myself, especially with testing, is if you don't have multiple eyes looking at something, sometimes there are errors that you see after things have been sent out. And there's nothing worse with all the work that we're going to put into this to not have some kind of way of providing a review, right? Of doing like, God, I can't even think of the word. Review is the only thing that's coming to mind, but there's like a fancy word for it. But anyhow, so I want us all to make sure that we're looking at each other's work, making sure, punctuation, we're not missing periods, making sure that, there is spelt the right way, given the content, because, that's just all important stuff as we're messaging this stuff out, right? So what do you guys think? Any questions on that?
No questions?
I think it's perfect.
Okay.
I think it's perfect.
Okay, great. So as I'm looking through this, so the first big chunk, and let's just look at the content. Do we see any changes? So look at the content. Let's talk about the content that we're talking about putting together. Thoughts, anything we're missing? Do we want to include something else? Let's take a look at that and just kind of go down and make sure we're giving everything that we feel would get a new family ready to connect with our school.
Do we have the welcome to? Yeah, we do. Okay, see, yeah, we got the welcome to online learning course in there. Okay, and are we designing this for K-5 only or
school-wide?
Okay.
Yeah, this will be school-wide. What will end up happening for like department specific, because there will be an element, and that's why you can see there's varying, each of you that's on this team have supported different grade level students. So the method to the madness is that we need to make sure, like if there is a specific thing for, and that might be later, it might be in one of the other sections, but if there's something that's specific for high school, for instance, we want to talk here, get ready to connect with school. Do you know how to find your grad plan? That could be something that, I don't know if that's here or if that's in another section, but that should be something that maybe is just something that we pull out for high school students, right? That's important for them to know how to do that and what that looks like. So is that where you were going
Absolutely.
with that, Julie?
Yes. And then, yeah, the school-specific content. When I was hosting my student success check-in sessions, it seemed like a lot of the students were only working off of the My Schedule tab and not the Classes tab. So I retrained them in my sessions, and then I showed them how to modify their plan for the monthly view, for just the one courses assignments, so they could really see what they're supposed to do for the day or for the week or for the month. So that's why I wasn't sure if we're just doing K-5 or middle school. But when I showed the students how to do that, it was like the light bulb went off, and they're like, oh, wow, I can really figure out how to get to the lessons I need to read in addition to the assignments that they have to turn in. One thing I did notice, and I didn't know who to talk to about this, but the PE teacher for that class, I remember, Liz, you had mentioned that if we're not passing PE, then wow, that is the most easiest class ever, which it is. But the teacher was not, she did not add the activity log onto the plan for it to populate to be submitted on Fridays. So all my students that had PE for high school, that activity log was not populating on their plan. So that's something I think we need to make sure that whoever's teaching PE gets that added in there.
The problem was nobody was teaching PE. It was a self-paced class.
For high school, there were some teachers assigned to that, though.
Yeah, but I think they weren't really teaching the class. So I don't
okay.
think that anything was really set up in that class.
Got it.
I saw the same thing. So we can't control that. That's something that shouldn't be piece of this. That's part of the school, right? But,
yeah.
And we don't want to go into specific nitty-gritties on content, right? That's not the purpose of this.
But to show them for middle school and high school, just to show them their content section of their class. To go to the content, work on down the lessons and that sort of thing.
Now, question, do you see that as a get ready to connect, or is that in how to succeed in school? Get set for success. Where does that fit, do you feel?
I would imagine even the grow, right? Get ready, get set, grow. But they need to make sure that,
I don't know if it's grow. I feel like it's either in get ready to connect or it's get set for success.
I think it's the succeed one, the second
feel
part.
like
the second.
Yeah.
Because it's more streamlined. It's more like, okay, here's the big picture, but this is what you really need to do to find this content.
Correct.
Or to really make this work for you, versus just you need to log in every day. You need to attend school. It's really that fine-tuned, in my opinion.
We have something, like can you guys see it's a new screen? This is the Get Set for Success. Do you guys see that?
Yes, ma'am. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So we do have like get it ready for your courses. That probably should be a piece of that. To get ready for your courses, you need to understand your course content, right? Agreed?
Correct. Yeah, course
probably where it
content.
should go there. What do you think?
Totally agree.
Course
And
content.
even-
Plan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then even a lot of students, because they're not paying attention to the teacher's orientation sessions, they didn't really realize until way later that they could redo their quizzes. And especially for high school, those units will lock. So maybe we could even put in there something about make sure you review your graded quizzes and resubmit them if permitted before the unit locks.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a Get Set for Success piece of it. How to connect with school, how to check course progress, how to make up missing work, how to retake assessments, right?
Quizzes, I would say.
How to retake quizzes if not mastered. I mean, because that
Right.
K-5's wording, but it still could be, we could tweak that for the middle school, high school piece. Guys, God, there was something that you were just saying that I'm like, should go in here.
The plan also, how to follow their plan. When they click on plan on the top, if that's not in there, they need to know how they
that's up
can
here.
switch it.
Completing course readiness, course content, and daily plan. Is that what you're saying? Daily plan?
Well, it just says plan on their, when they're inside of the class, it just says plan.
Okay. Oh, the other piece that needs to probably come into this is, and this is an asterisk, but, oh, I did that. What is a locking date? I have that. What is a locking date? That is there because it's high school only. AZBA high school only, right? But the other piece of that could be, like, where do you think, I think the grad plan needs to go somewhere. Where do you think the grad plan should go?
Absolutely, it does.
Get set for success? I feel like it's in Get Set for Success.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, success.
Really, again, that like, okay, now we know the big picture, but this is, you're focusing on these courses. This is what you have. This is what you need.
So what is your graduation plan, and and what do credits mean? What do credits mean? I mean, I don't know if that's our job to do that, but we can kind of leave that. That would be something that's definitely more high school specific.
And then even with that, we can say, make sure you contact your advisor if you have questions on that. So we counselor for high school. Yes.
Counselors high school. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the high school advisors do some generic training on that though. So they can reach out to them.
Yeah.
Do we have anything in there about how to go back and locate Class Connect recordings? Because I want to make sure the students know that that is an option. I tell students all the time, go watch a Class Connect recording to help you understand your upcoming assessment. If you need if they didn't attend their
But that should probably, the live instruction, how to get to, we should probably put it in here. How to get to online classroom, how to know my schedule, expectations, required versus optional. Probably should just, how to get to online classroom, how to find recordings for sessions, right?
Correct, yeah. I even had a science teacher for high school tell his student, and I said, okay, well, that's great. That's what they told you. But he said, go watch a recording while you're taking the assessment to help you understand what kind of questions are coming up. Because the answers are not going to be in the recording or in the live class more than likely, but the concept should be there. But I wouldn't tell a student that. I don't ever tell a student that, but those Class Connect recordings are pretty vital.
Do you think, because I separated out live instruction, how to get to online classroom, how to find recordings for live class sessions, do you think we need to, in this get ready to connect, review the difference between required and optional classes here?
Absolutely. That they should always go to the required sessions, but they can always go back and watch an optional Class Connect recording if they wanted to. But
I agree. In that those welcome sessions that Daisha, Chris, and I were doing, we talked about it. I explicitly told them, if it says required, it's not an option to skip it. It's required. It means you have to be there. And then we draw the parallel between saying, that's like saying, okay, so you logged in and you had a required session. That's like saying at brick and mortar, well, I dropped my student off at school and then they spent the day in the cafeteria. They spent the day hanging out on the playground. Well, they didn't actually feel like sitting in front of the teacher while they taught, so they just went to the library. We would never do that at our neighborhood school.
Right.
We don't do that here.
Right. I also think in this live instruction piece, and maybe this is called something different. I'm not sure if live instruction is the right word. Maybe this is just classroom, your online classroom. Maybe this is called something different, right? Because we're talking about everything in the online classroom. So I feel like I want to get out of this and do online classes. Does that make sense? No, that doesn't make sense. Well, so it's online classes versus online courses.
Yeah, it does, because that is how they refer them. You didn't go to your online classes, or they'll say the online lessons or the online work or the offline portions. But they also say live, so it could go either way, I suppose.
Okay. So I also put in here, because we talked about it in our previous meeting, what are the online help rooms? But there was another, we should probably talk about that here. somebody said there's another, we call it a couple different names. There's no consistency, right?
Yeah, there's the help labs. So usually there's a help lab, especially with the older grades. Well, across the board, all of them. They have a help lab, like it's a math help lab. It's a science help lab. And you're supposed to go with your math questions, your science questions, and then they will go through that lesson or that topic or that question with you. The open office hours, you can get some one-on-one help, but it's not really typically a study hall, but a lot of teachers will just do, I mean, if they get you, they get you, so they're happy. So I don't know.
So if we say, what are the online help rooms, help labs, and why are they important? Does that cover that, do we think? Or, because I think that should go part of this. That should be a piece of the online classroom.
And teachers will give extra credit if they attend those. If you come to my English help lab, I will give you extra credit for this, or I'll take away this, or I'll do this lesson with you. Okay. So yeah, we should definitely push that.
Okay, I changed this to online classroom just because I did. We don't have to have it that way. How to know my schedule. So this is more of my online courses, right? I think we just need to refine what these are. So in my online courses, how do you know my schedule? How does that make sense? Expectations. I feel like we need to chunk this a little bit differently.
I want to throw in two pieces into this. One, under technical support, if we could add how to verify your time zone is correct. I see that a lot. And then the other one is, how can the learning coach check progress of students through the learning coach account?
So, okay, there's a couple things. So we had progress in Get Set for Success, I feel. Let me double check. Set for Success, daily expectations, get ready for your courses, how to engage, how to connect with the school, how to check course progress, check grades, et cetera, et cetera. So we had that as a piece of Get Set for Success. So in my mind, does that belong there, or does that belong in Get Ready to Connect? Because you're right, we do need to talk about it.
I think it's good in the first one because they're going to want to know exactly, they need to know how to check their progress and their grades from the learning coach's view and the student's view. So I think that could be in the first one.
But
I could see either.
I could see either. And the reason why we put it is because we're trying to get set for success. So if you're getting set for success, to be successful, you need to know what your course progress is. I'm not sure if we're getting ready to connect with school. It's really, what do I need to do? What are the tools that I need to utilize? I don't know. I could be either. You're right.
When you say tools, I think that could be that learning coach tool. That could be that first push is, you know, this is where you check it. This is how you see what they're doing.
Yeah.
I really see a strong argument for both pieces.
I do too.
For both spots.
Yeah, I do too. And maybe it stays in both, right? I mean, it doesn't have to just be in one or the other, right? Because to be successful, you still need to be checking that. So maybe it's just another piece where even though we develop it, maybe it can be in multiple sections. What do you guys feel about it?
And it could go in that orientation, those specific grade level orientations or grade band. Mm-hmm, that could be a big piece in there. So it wouldn't necessarily, I mean, so yeah, like you said, it could go in both. It could be snuck into that, but then added as a section in the other.
So remember, this is your welcome video session. So this isn't giving an orientation. This is talking about the orientations that are coming up you need to attend.
Ah, perfect.
So that's the difference here. So this is just that initial welcome video session, that welcome to school. Part of that welcome to school could include some of these topics, right? But that's going to be more of what you and CJ and Chris did. So it's not going to give them an orientation.
You're right.
That's just the same. Pay attention because you will have orientations. You need to go to them.
I think in regards to the checking progress, you can't mention that enough. That's kind of
that's what I think so too.
Attendance, because that would eliminate a lot of problems for the students if the learning coach is staying on top of it.
So I feel like that goes into my online coursework. I'm going to do online coursework. I feel like that belongs in here. How to know my daily schedule. Like, what do I need to do every day, right? How do I check my progress,
Yeah.
right?
That makes sense.
How do I check course content? Again, you might not be, I think we have it in Set for Success, but I don't know if you can hear it enough. Do you agree or disagree?
No, I agree. I love this because of the progression. That first welcome session is letting them know you actually do have a schedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and then we're going to show you how to find it.
Mm-hmm. And the walk to class, again, and maybe walk to class becomes a piece of this, right? Maybe that's part of the welcome video sessions. It doesn't have to be its own separate entity, right? But
it can be both.
Yeah.
Mention it.
Correct.
You'll see information about walk to class. Be sure to log in because that's just a couple seconds.
Okay, so then we've got welcome to online learning. We've got what is your online classroom, online coursework, how to know my daily schedule, how to check progress, how do I check course content, what else would go into a student and a family understanding their online coursework?
How to check teachers' feedback. That is big because a lot of, especially with their science labs, a lot of times, at least for high school, they'll
So again, is that piece of get ready or is that part, do we pull that into succeed? To me, that's the succeed piece.
Okay, that's great.
Let me add that into here. Course content, completing course daily assessments, how to check course progress, how to check grades, how to check grade book, and feedback. I already have it in there. Look at me. I'm so much better than I thought. And teacher feedback.
Great.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely, I agree, that has to be in there, 100%.
The time zone setting thing is huge. So I think that could be the first one.
That should go into online coursework, right? Or where would that go? Technical support?
Tech support.
Yeah. Okay. How to set my time zone, right?
Right.
Okay.
And it's the two spots because it's in the online school and it's on your computer. Just doing your computer, which is what most families do, does not always make it work.
Okay.
In the getting ready to connect, are we also going to talk about, you know, I've heard the story where they go online and nothing is propagated. What do I do now? Are we going to address that in?
I don't have materials. I don't have my courses. Yeah, we probably should.
On the OLS, no courses propagated. What do I do? I see we're pretty heavy towards the student, and I'm just trying to see where the learning coach piece comes in. Because if we don't have the learning coach, the student is not going to do real good.
That could be a combo with the tech support piece too. Like, now what? You know, this doesn't happen. Now what? Or, you know, I don't know. That could be part of that handout thing. This is what you do if.
So yeah, because you might not have materials. You might not have a computer. You might not have internet one day, right? What do you do? So yeah, you're right. What do we want to call that? I like that idea.
Troubleshooting guide.
Could be a troubleshooting guide. When I hear troubleshooting guide, it means I'm having trouble. If I don't have materials, I'm not in trouble because I didn't even know I wasn't, right? I mean, to me, I think we need something different. Do you see my cleaner? She's cleaning the window in the back. So embarrassing. I can't believe she's here doing my cleaning.
I can't see it.
Learning coach FAQ.
You see?
Oh, that's funny.
For a split second, I thought that was a legit cleaner. I was like, then why did you schedule her?
Liz is in the new office.
Moving. You have a cleaner who doesn't actually move. She just stands there.
She just stands there.
She's a waste of money.
That dog keeps licking my windows. I'm so sorry. I just realized
I want to take that up with your cleaner or the supervisor. She should actually be moving. Or you may want to check on her for a pulse. Just saying. Pulse check.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You need to switch offices with Daisha.
Shanghai, this whole thing. Okay,
so we can do like a learning coach checklist or FAQs.
Yeah.
Cheat sheet.
cheat
So
sheet.
I feel like Learning Coach is in here. So
Yeah.
we definitely need to have Learning Coach university pieces, right? So we could have a cheat sheet, could call it that. We could call a what if happens, right? What if the world ends today? I'm just kidding. Well, another good example is the blizzard that hit Flagstaff, right? What do? You don't, it's not like you're off from school, right? Because the rest of the state didn't get hit with the blizzard. So you could have what if happens, what if scenarios. So we could really build that up a little bit more.
This is
Like having a
great.
backup plan, plan B
Yes.
or backup plan or
I
something.
kind of feel like it needs a catchy name, like how to school when you have no, I don't know, school stuff.
Right.
Can we
No
play with
internet.
the what to expect if you're expecting type of thing? What can we do with that?
I love that.
What can we do? What to expect if things don't work out? I don't know.
We should have a
that's-
stressed out Elsie.
Dummy's
you know,
guide, a dummy's
juggling
guide.
guides
Let's-
and
We should play with that. I think that's
Laptops.
great. We could do something with Adam Ruins Everything too, right? Oh no, Adam Ruins Everything is a little bit different. Adam ruins the real stuff. Yeah.
brother right under me, his name is Adam. I can attest to this.
So
Adam
funny.
literally ruined everything.
Funny.
One of the other things to throw in there, Liz, would be, and a lot of the teachers, a lot of learning coaches don't know what to do if their student is sick, if they have to go do something else, especially for K-5. Middle school is not so bad. High school, well, that's up to the student.
Well,
That's a
but
big
there
piece.
There is a do not, and Jennifer Parrish, I don't know, I know you're in the room, but there is a big thing where there's actually a link that you can let everyone know that your kid's got the flu and they're going to be out for 3 or 4 days.
But that'd be good on that cheat sheet or what to
Yeah.
do if, because they're getting so many pieces of email that even I have to look for that link all the time. I mean, and I have it bookmarked, but having that cheat sheet would be pretty exciting, or a link to a cheat sheet on the website so they could just, my kid's sick. This is
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
On the website, you could go ahead and have a list of things. Child sick, click here, do this.
100%. That would be so helpful as a learning coach.
Well, yeah, because if you look at like our children's brick and mortar web places, when I go to my kid's school, the attendance number is there for me to call in my attendance, right? So for us, it's the same type of thing. It just is you click on a link. Yeah, we don't need it here, Jen, but yeah, you're right.
Is it good to have that external link? I mean, that link out to the whole world, like on the World Wide Web, or can it be embedded into their online school somehow?
It can't be embedded into the online
Get a whole bunch
school.
of fake
It
names.
can't be embedded into the online school. So yeah, you might be right. Maybe it's just something where we keep it in a cheat sheet that we maintain. That's true. Yeah. Anyhow, we'll figure that out. We don't have to figure that out now. It's just important that we do have the ability to make sure we remember to make sure it's created.
Jen, you sent it out already in the newsletter. Yeah.
I don't think they read all the newsletters because they get so many.
Many.
So I just don't think that the families save that live link.
Another thing I noticed with a couple of my families, and it probably could have easily been withdrawn, but it's just with this tech thing, the Learning Coach University, that if it doesn't show that the students' lessons are being checked off as being read through, and they can clearly see the student is in there reading through them, just to have them use a different browser. And that's kind of detailed right now, but that has happened to like 3 of my families.
Browser stuff, right?
Browser. Because a lot of families don't even know just to switch to a different browser.
Right, right.
Browser concerns, like tech support, and there's videos already, but clearing Java,
Blackboard issues.
yeah, clearing cache.
Well, I don't think they even think that it's not registering correctly, that changing browsers would even be an option. So you're right, that's a big one.
There was something with online classroom. We need to have in here somehow how to download Blackboard.
They do have a K-12 video for that too.
I know, but it should be in part of that piece of those, don't you think? Should it go in online classroom or tech support?
Ooh, we could go in both.
I was about to say, can we do it and more as a both and rather than an either or? Because I think a lot of families don't realize they have to go through the download process until they're supposed to be somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Perfect.
And I want to touch base on the links. I had my microphone muted. Was that when I did my welcome, I had them bookmark things like, those important links. So the link that Jen sent across might be something we would consider, having them bookmark these really important links that they're going to need later throughout the year, so that they would have them handy. That's part of building their toolbox.
So
That'd
maybe,
be great.
Yeah, that's a great handout. So should we bookmark this? Bookmark this or something like this that we create that a handout, simple handout. And those links that are really important to bookmark. I agree. I think that's great.
That'd be a great ending slide too, or ending visual on the
Correct.
welcome video, like when it's all done. Now,
Correct.
bookmark this. Oh, I love that. Bookmark this.
Yeah.
Required bookmarks.
Yeah.
And if this, I don't know if we're sending out or if this is a session they're coming to, but we're available if we're in the session, if they're struggling learning how to bookmark. And that was something that I found when I used to, back in the, when we first started this program and we did the welcome, and I spent a lot of time teaching new learning coaches how to bookmark and how to organize their computer so that it would be successful.
Agreed. So you could have a handout that says bookmark this, and you could create a video how to create a bookmark, right?
Right.
So you could have that all be piece of it. So I think you could do a tutorial video on how to create a bookmark. Yeah.
Do we want to put anything anywhere about like Word issues, like how to upload a document, upload a TGA into the Dropbox?
I think that's success. I don't think that's here. I mean,
you have it already? Okay.
I don't know if that goes here.
Right. For me, working with some of the families who are not computer savvy, just how to save their document onto their computer, or definitely how to upload their TGAs. That was a big one for many families, and how to create a folder on their desktop. Just the computer basic fundamentals. I don't know where that would fit in, but there's some that just don't know how to do any of that. There's a lot of grandparents now, it seems like, taking care of their grandbabies that are not computer savvy. So if we can have like a resource for them to go to for help with that.
So I think that becomes a piece of Learning Coach University. What do you think, CJ? I feel like that's part of Learning Coach University.
Yes. Can I be a weirdo? When Ronna and I were in social work, we ran a grandparents group out of a local, what do you call those things? I wanted to yell Golden Corral. So we went to Golden Corral, and the grandparents would get together like a social group. I would like to do something like that.
So, and this is getting a little bit, because I think that's more than just in the get ready to grow or ready to connect section.
Yeah, no, that's a grow.
Yeah, I feel like that is, I feel like that goes in other pieces for Learning Coach University. I think it's got to be a piece of Learning Coach University. Where did I put Learning Coach University?
It's its own thing.
It is its own thing. How about if we call this, what do we want to call this? Technology? No, because we're not going to.
Like basic computer fundamentals, or
that makes me nervous.
I know, forget it.
I don't know if I like that.
I would, if we're going to talk about grow and connecting, I feel like it needs to be a meetup or something like that, rather than me coming in and going, this is how you turn on a computer.
Computer requirements, or oh my goodness, not computer requirements, but my brain's
so here's a thought process. CJ, we talked about families being able to test out, right? So maybe within that quiz, we do something that I don't want to say test their computer knowledge, but we test their computer knowledge. Do you know what I mean? So that if we have a family, and I don't know what that looks like, so I'm completely brainstorming here. So if a family says they're a beginning computer user, right? Maybe that alerts us that they need some additional resources. I believe K-12 has some of those resources, don't they?
I believe they do. And that is actually a question in one of the pulse checks.
Yeah,
where there's like a litmus scale where they rate how computer savvy they think they are from, I remember the highest was like very experienced or something like that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe that could be here, and then when you get those results, right, then that might be something that, okay, this family's a beginning user, they need this set of videos to help them understand how to school, and if the videos don't help, then maybe that's another flag that, okay, maybe they need some kind of meetup, they need some one-on-one just help technology-wise. What do you think?
I agree. If it's that severe that they need a meetup, this needs to be 25 of them meeting up, because if it's just
100%, yes,
it's not a meetup.
Well, it's not effective, right? It's not effective use of anybody's time. And maybe that's something that, it's not CJ doing this. Maybe it's I was just going to say, maybe around Chandler, there are 10 people that we know are going to struggle with technology. So maybe the BLCs say, okay, come on in. We're going to help you learn how to be technology, be a technology tiger. Oops.
I agree. I like that. All alliteration aside, I like that. Jen is proposing Computer Lit 101. I know earlier we talked about 4 dummies. I'm all about taking like the friendly approach. So maybe instead of calling it Computer Lit 101, we can call it How to Turn on a Computer.
Question families
Learning Coach University online and the brick and mortar Learning Coach University at your local BLC.
Pretty much, yeah.
Families for technology
you're onto something there.
Level of experience.
Does anybody know if on the Welcome to Online Learning course, if it has a practice section where they can upload the TGA into a Dropbox?
It does not.
They should really consider adding that into that Welcome to Online Learning course. They can't do it now, but they need that training now, like in advance.
Well, I think in years past, we sort of did the training covertly, where part of our like getting to know them is they had to upload an image or upload your picture or something. So we had a task that required them to do some sort of uploading, and then that sort of alerted us to if they could or could not do it. Yeah, that sneaky training, the ninja training.
Okay, so
I love that though.
At one point in the years, I created a video on how to scan, save, and email or upload to, what is that we call in the OLS station?
The file folder sharing.
Yeah,
but are they still, I think before we go down that route, we need to make sure we understand what, I know that you're going to have high schoolers and middle schoolers, they're going to have to use a Dropbox, right? That's something that we know. I don't know if K-5 is going to be using some other source. Do you think they're not, or you think they're still going to be using that? Do we know?
They do a mixture of the file transfer, file sharing, and there are certain assignments that they have to scan and send in, but most don't scan now. So I've had them download a scanner, which is really a picture. I mean, they're just taking a picture. So if they can't get that, you don't need
to scan. You can certainly do just a cell phone picture anymore.
That's what I try to tell them. Some of them can't get past the scan, so I've walked them through getting an app that said scanner, and all it does is take a picture. But they had a little file, and they were happy.
So does that go into get ready to connect with school, or is that how to succeed in school? I feel like that's getting. I feel like that's in the succeed. I don't think that's in this portion.
I do too.
And maybe that's ready to grow, but maybe not. So let me look in the set for success. Daily expectations. What is my schedule? Live classes, online work, offline work, websites, check announcements, check email. Getting ready for your courses. I feel like maybe it goes in there. Yeah, I feel like we put in how to use the Dropbox, how to send images of your coursework. Maybe that's how we phrase it instead of scanning. And maybe not, but that way you can, an image can be a scan, it could be a picture, right?
Right. I think if you can also mention teacher graded assignment or TGA, because that's, I think, what the students are going to be thinking about. That's what the TGA is what it's referred to in middle school. And then assignment. Yeah, okay.
I thought it was work samples in K5.
They do both. You see them flip-flop. It's almost synonymous.
So
just so that way they know what kind of information they're getting and why it's going to help them in this session or whatever.
I feel like that's in something already put in there, but hang on one second. Did I put it in? Again, I don't know if that's in Get Ready. I don't think that's in our platform. I don't think it's in the Get Ready thing. I feel like that is, but let me double check. We've got attendance, welcome to online classroom, online coursework. How to know my daily schedule. How do I check my progress? How do I check course contact? How do I check, I don't know what I meant by how to check teacher, but how to contact teachers, maybe what I meant with that. Does it go here or does it go into set for succeed? Get set for success.
I see both. It's almost like that tech tip sort of section for how to upload, how to, do your,
okay.
I don't know. I say it more for the success area.
Well, I know we have to have a tech, do we have a tech set for maybe we don't have that in set for success. I feel like the tech piece goes in everything, right?
I think so. I think it builds on, like each sheet could build on the next group of topics.
So in that tech piece, you could do a how-to video. It could go in the Get Ready for Your Courses, right? How to use the Dropbox. Oh, I have how to use the Dropbox. How to send images of coursework. What were we saying? I'm sorry.
How to submit your assignments or how to upload your assignments. The K-12 has a video already done on that, and it's okay. It's pretty decent.
Okay, so what is different from how to use the Dropbox to how to upload assignments? I'm confused on that.
It's the same.
Okay, so then what terminology makes more sense to our families? How to use the Dropbox, and then just maybe put in parentheses how to submit assignments? Is that what we want to do?
I would say how to submit teacher graded assignments. It's longer, but that's
right. I think that you're right, Julie, because that covers all the grade bands. Dropbox is only middle school, high school.
So how to use the Dropbox, how to submit teacher graded assignments, and maybe we take out Dropbox completely. Maybe it's just how to submit teacher graded assignments.
I think so. Take out Dropbox. Yeah.
Right? Because that's really what we're teaching them, or going to be teaching them in Get Set for Success. Get ready for your courses, how to submit teacher grade assignments and work samples, how to send images of your coursework, which is actually a piece of that, right?
It is, yeah.
So maybe I just put that in parentheses here. All right, so we have gotten off of our little piece. What time is it? 10? Oh, we gotta, okay.
15 minutes.
Yeah, we gotta go back in and let's do this. So we can always come back and revise curriculum. I think we have a pretty good, I keep pulling the wrong thing up. Okay, so this is our Get Ready to Connect with Schools. So first off, meeting times. I feel like we need to have another meeting because we didn't get assignments or medium. We probably need to schedule another meeting. So can we set up a regular meeting time until we leave until that June, whatever that June date is?
I like that.
Yep. That gives us at least 2 more times if we just did it once a week.
Correct.
Do we need mornings because Wendy's schedule?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. So does this time, And I feel like we need another meeting probably Friday of this week. I'd like to have another meeting because I don't want to wait until next week because then we have barely any time left. So I feel like we should get another meeting on the schedule this week if possible. What do you guys think about that? Just because then we can really divvy up who's doing what. Okay.
That's good. We don't have a lot on our plates right now, so we're good.
Set meeting up for this week, and then we can get Wendy back involved. And then for next week, do we want to go and set something up for Tuesday? Or Monday's a holiday. Do we want to do Tuesday or Wednesday? I don't care. Let's set up one meeting at least for next week.
I'd say Tuesday. Time if we need more.
So Tuesday a.m., right? Let's just see what's going on Tuesday morning. Hang on one second, because we got graduations built in here. High school graduation for Insight is Tuesday morning. So I am not going to be able to be there because I need to be at high school graduation. So I don't want that to preclude this team from meeting. Is anybody on this team planning on going to Insight's graduation?
And we could bump the meeting to Wednesday. I mean, it's not.
I think the meeting on Wednesday would be better because that gives us a day when we come back. If we have our meeting on Friday, then we got a 3-day weekend. Nothing's going to be accomplished. So it gives us Tuesday to work.
So then I could do something, and I don't know if I'm involved in this meeting here, but why don't we plan on Wednesday at 10:30? Does that sound okay for next week?
It's perfect.
This is the, what are we calling this? Get set, no, connected, get connected, right?
Get ready, yeah.
Ready, get ready for school. All right, I'll send an invite out for that meeting. We'll do like another hour time because I don't want to take too much time. So we'll do an hour meeting then. This week, how about if we try to do something, I hate to say it, what's your guys' schedule like tomorrow morning?
Yeah, I'm good, Liz. That sounds good to me.
I wouldn't want to do it in the afternoon because my kiddo graduates in the afternoon, but
Ooh,
I can
congratulations.
I know, got a big graduation. So why don't we say 9:30 tomorrow morning? Is that okay?
Perfect.
Perfect.
Works for me.
Okay, so then I will send out those meetings. Get ready. And in the meantime, I'm going to send out the notes from this meeting today. So what I'd like to do at our meeting tomorrow is I'd like us to look at each of these pieces, right? And what I'd like to do is really define these chunks. There's big chunks here. How are we going to divide this work up to conquer it, right? So, and then it could be like Jen, I hate to say it, but you're going to probably be our attendance person, which isn't a bad thing. But if we need additional support in doing any of this stuff, like the welcome video sessions, I think that stuff is pretty much done from what you, Daisha, and CJ did. So when we look at this, I would like you guys to mark this sheet up, right? And put, okay, this is done. I feel like we've got good materials here. Let's put it somewhere so we can all look at this, make sure everyone agrees with the materials, see if there's any other medium that we need to provide for the materials. Do we need a video created? Do we need, what other stuff should we do? Because I feel like some of this stuff is already done, right? So let's take a look at that. So I would like for you to come back tomorrow with at least what do we think is done? What do we need to still create, right? And we might not have all of it fleshed out. I understand that. And then what would your passion be? Where do you want to fit in? Because we all need to take a piece of this and provide some of that stuff, right? Robert, your technical background, I really feel like I'd love to have you more involved in some of those technical pieces, but that's just my personal opinion.
You can put me wherever you'd like.
Well, no, it's your path. You need to decide. I don't want to say what you have to do. I want you to enjoy what you're doing, right?
I was thinking working with the learning coach, setting that up.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So just come tomorrow prepared with what we know we already have and we can utilize. And then, Daisha, if you could come for tomorrow with where this stuff goes. So if you could create something in Team Drive for our team, and then we can start, for meeting 3, we can look at what we already have, make sure everyone's okay, see what else we need to do. If we need to vary the material somehow, the content doesn't change, but maybe we do something instead of just a PowerPoint presentation. Maybe we want to have a flyer. Maybe it needs to have a video associated with it. So there might be multiple ways of the same information being created. Does that make sense? That we need to do. So if we can come prepared tomorrow with that, that would be fantastic.
Real quick question was for all the videos that we did, or not videos, the recordings for the, not the week of welcome, but the sessions we did every week. Can we use any of those recordings for this, or more?
I think it would be tough to use the recordings because they're associated with that Class Connect room that's already set up. So I don't think we could use the recordings per se, but the content that we use to create those, absolutely we can use. So I feel like the content is there. I think you're right. I feel like we might need to have something outside of Blackboard that a video is created in, because Blackboard, if you record in Blackboard, it dates it. And not everyone can have access to that recording, I don't believe.
Second part to the question, when they're onboarded, or K-12 does the initial sign up for AZVA, do they go over the internet requirements?
Yes.
Check their internet?
Yes. The enrollment should. Enrollment has a whole series of stuff that they do. I still feel like we still have families that come in and, I mean, let's put it this way. There's a long dialogue that happens in enrollment. Do we hear everything? No. I feel like people tune out after 3 minutes, personally. I think you've got a 3 to 4, maybe 5 minute window where you can capture somebody's attention. And after that, they're someplace else. So I feel like in those calls, I'm not sure of all of that information, and they're being thrown out a lot of information. So I feel like that kind of stuff does need to be regurgitated in that welcome. I think they just need to have that regurgitated.
So basically under the learning coach, you were in the ready to connect, we would go ahead and throw in another blurb about, don't use your hotspot. You have proper internet type.
Absolutely. It should be. Yeah. Yeah. Or that it's questionable. I mean, I don't say that a hotspot, because I've gone into Blackboard with a hotspot and I don't have an issue. So I feel like it is, I don't want to think that we should say don't use a hotspot, but I think we should state something like a hotspot is a questionable use. You should have dedicated internet. So, something along that line. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a good backup. It's not a good everyday use.
No.
It uses a lot of data.
No. And your husband will yell at you because you use all the data.
The reason it surfaced is I had a lot of, well, I shouldn't say a lot, maybe about 10 students that were rural that had no internet other than the phone or the hotspot.
Correct. And I think, again, it's their choice. If they want to be successful in school, that's not a best practice, right? So you can use it. It might work sometimes, it might not work, but you need to understand these are what we're saying you need to be able to use and do to be successful in our environment. And maybe that's more the approach, because we want to see our students grow and have 1 year of academic growth. If you're going to make 1 year of academic growth, these are the things that we know need to happen and we know you need to do. And if there is an issue with that hotspot not working on a regular basis, then you really should evaluate if you're going to be able to make a year's worth of academic growth just relying solely on that, right? That's really what it comes down to.
Should we let the families know about the internet reimbursement policy? Because that could help them in the long run. They get paid at the end of the school year, a small amount, but that could help them really make sure they're going to their state testing.
So not everyone qualifies for internet reimbursement.
Correct.
So
but for those,
that would be applicable here. I feel like that's something you certainly should have a conversation with your student as an advisor. You should know if a family, because you can see it if they qualify or not. So as an advisor, I think that's important information for you to understand from your family and make sure that they understand that. Okay. Especially if you have a family that has a hotspot question, right? So if there's a family that has a question and they're using a hotspot, then it becomes, okay, well, can they qualify for internet reimbursement? If they can, make sure they know that and a conversation happens. But then it becomes even more, because some of these rural locations don't even have internet. I mean, you have to have satellite. I mean, some of these places that some of our families live, sadly, don't even have that ability. So, so I don't think it becomes part of this big thing that we're providing. I think that's something that an advisor should understand, that they need to make sure they do that if they're if they have a question with the family. Anything else?
I just we were talking about that. I want to make sure that we I don't know if it's in all of our stuff, wherever it goes, there's the everyoneon.org that they can go to and see what ISP services their area, and if they can get it, you know, usually it's around $12 a month.
And there was, yeah, there was something that came out from K-12 that is probably documentation that could go in to send it out to everybody. 100% agree. That's a different thing. And maybe that goes into our technical checklist, our technical thing. Maybe that's a good spot for that. Having trouble with internet, have you checked this type of thing? Anything else?
It was just a clarification. So this is basically going across all grade bands, K through 12.
Correct.
And we're not going to cover any of the special ed things. This is just.
Well, but there'd be a separate piece for K-5. There's a separate, maybe a separate piece for middle school, maybe a separate piece for high school. I think I think sales is so very different. It wouldn't be a part of all this at all.
No, sales would have their own piece of it. It would only be impacted for students that are in direct instruction or resource. And I feel like that could be information. First off, I don't want to confuse families and get ready to connect, whether they are resource. I mean, using that kind of terminology doesn't mean anything to a gen ed family. So I feel like that doesn't belong in here. That could be something more that's really more grade level orientation specific.
Pretty much what's for one family is the same. I mean, I don't think you really need to specify special ed or not. I think that's a really, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we do that in here. This is just for everybody. And if a family has those immediate concerns or needs, and you as the advisor are going to know that, because you're going to see that that student is a special ed student. You're going to know if they're direct instruction, so you would probably have different dialogues with the family as well. Because remember, you guys as the advisors are going to be in control of what you're going to do to your families, right? You're going to be able to look at this and, okay, hey, I have a family that really could benefit from Walk to Class. Let me send this to them so they get registered for Walk to Class. Or I got a family, they are just crazy with their hotspot. Let me give them this resource to give them that everybodyon.org or whatever Mary Rose just said. So this, again, is for you as the advisor. Pick out pieces that you're seeing families struggle with to get them ready to start and ready to connect with school.
It's almost like the advisor's toolbox. It's our toolbox.
That's right.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a crescent wrench that's supposed to fit all tools.
There you go. It is. And we're not supposed to be tools about it. Just kidding. All right. I think we're done because I got to get into my other meeting. I will send out this document that we just put together. Please review. I'll send out the invites for our meetings in just a little bit. And then I'll see you guys tomorrow. I appreciate your time and everything. I appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you. Bye.
All right. Have a good day. Bye-bye.